Live from the station that's on your side, this is 6 News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Lori Tucker.
I'm Gene Patterson. Tonight, Interstate 40 in Jefferson County remains closed in both directions as THP crash scene investigators begin the difficult task of gathering clues in the deadly church bus accident.
This is how the scene looked earlier today. 8 people were killed, 14 others injured when a tire on the North Carolina church bus blew, causing the deadly chain of events with a tractor trailer and an SUV.
The night team's Alexis Sotos begins our live team coverage with the latest on that investigation. And Alexis, what can you tell us?
Well, Gene, this is still a very active investigation as these crews are trying to piece together and reconstruct this scene. Now, just moments ago, they were able to flip the bus on its side. We're going to let you take a look at that. There are a tow truck right now starting to connect that bus, but we got our first glimpse of the side where it read Front Street Baptist Church. Now that is the church group that was coming from Gatlinburg. You can see the mangled end. That was the front of this bus. And now these crews are tasked with coming up with all the answers. Nearly a dozen agencies responded to the deadly 3-vehicle crash after a blown tire caused a church bus driving east to cross the median, hitting an SUV and then a tractor trailer. The truck engulfed in flames. The bus turned on its side as first responders arrived.
Some hot and heat exposure to one section of the bus, and we were able to remove all the victims fairly rapidly that were alive.
The truck driver was killed, along with 6 on the bus and 1 in the SUV. We have confirmed the truck driver worked for BAH Express out of Atlanta. Fire crews spent hours battling the blaze.
It was completely consumed.
Now it's a matter of putting together the pieces of what happened and looking at the mechanics of the bus as well as the driver.
Driving history of the bus driver, qualifications of the bus driver. As far as DOT inspections on the bus, I'm sure that will all be looked at.
There were 18 on the bus coming from a church conference called the Fall Jubilee in Gatlinburg. At this point, THP says it appears to be just a terrible accident.
It appears to be at this present time a very bad crash scene that is just due to the tire that got started from the tire being blown out.
There were no minors involved, but investigators are still working to identify and notify the victims' families.
Because of the chaos of the scene, we still have to determine who was where, and that would be part of what the Highway Patrol's investigation determined.
Now, THP's critical response team is the one that is here remapping and reconstructing this accident site. Now that they have the bus flipped, they are going to be able to get a lot more information about that. You can see there are tow trucks here. Those tow trucks will begin towing away the truck and the bus so they can continue this investigation, looking for any mechanical issues that mean this could have been something more than just a terrible accident. We're going to send it back to you guys in the studio. Gene, Lori.
All right, Alexis. Now, the magnitude of this crash is so evident when you take a look at aerial views of the scene. Scenic helicopter tours of Pigeon Forge took our crew over the area. You can see the church bus turned on its side there with debris scattered across the median and the westbound lanes of I-40. The cab of the tractor trailer nearly unrecognizable. The ground around it black from the smoke and the fire. The night team Stephanie Beacon talked with a truck driver who saw the crash. She joins us live with the terrifying moments he witnessed. Stephanie.
Lori, I have been out here at the scene since 2:30, and throughout the day I saw THP speaking to this truck driver multiple times throughout the day. Eventually I went and I approached THP and asked who the truck driver was. They said he is our main witness and he has just been released to go home. So I found the truck driver, I hopped in the cab with him and I asked him what happened, and he described to me what he calls the worst accident he has ever seen. The accident leading up to this scene is something Charles Reagan never imagined he'd see. He's been trucking for 30 years and has never seen a wreck like this. It's a crash he says he'll never forget.
This is the first time, like I said, it's ever bothered me this bad, and I've seen them all. So I've cried. I've been here since 2 o'clock and I've cried. And I'll cry again. About to cry now, but it's a bad thing.
For hours, Reagan answered THP investigators' questions about what he witnessed.
He hit the SUV first, and it was pulling a boat trailer, and separated it. And then he got the tractor trailer and killed the driver of the trailer.
Reagan was driving a load from North Carolina to Kentucky. He says he was very close to hitting the swerving bus. The bus missed him by just feet and struck the SUV behind him. Debris from the crash damaged his truck.
My window's down, so if that would have hit here, it would have killed me. If I'd have been 2 seconds earlier, he'd hit the truck, and I just filled up to 250 gallons of fuel 30 miles ago. So it could have been horrific.
Reagan says his thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families.
My heart's breaking for them.
Reagan told me after being released by THP that he was just going to drive up to the next exit. His wife was waiting for him to take him home. He told me he just couldn't drive anymore tonight. He was too upset and just too emotional. Live in at Jefferson County for the 6 News Night Team, Stephanie Beacon.
All right, thank you very much, Stephanie. Tonight, 14 victims in the church bus crash are being treated at UT Medical Center. Several area hospitals were on standby to receive patients, including Children's of East Tennessee, Newport Medical Center, and Jefferson Memorial. A Jefferson Memorial spokesperson saying one crash victim was stabilized there before being transported to UT Medical Center for further treatment. The Night Team's Mona Nair is live at UT Medical Center with the latest on the victims and the efforts to help the families. Mona, what can you tell us?
Gene, as you said, 14 patients from that crash are here at UT Medical Center. 2 of them are in critical condition, 7 of them are serious, and 5 are stable. Their families are here at the hospital as well, and the Red Cross is set up to help with basics like food as well as emotional support. All afternoon, we watched them come in. Some crash survivors brought to UT Medical Center by air, others by ambulance, making an already busy hospital trauma unit even busier.
I can't specifically recall an incident like this in gosh, many years where you've had this many people coming in.
For the families of the 14 patients, Red Cross set up an assistance center on the ground floor of the facility, providing basics like food as well as emotional support.
There are some families who are already here. There's some local families who have loved ones who are here, and they're trying to get information like we all are, just waiting.
Just waiting in these situations is tough. Folks here doing what they can to make things a little easier.
It's a bad thing that happens, and your heart just has to go out to these people and their families as well.
Now, this is certainly a trying time for these families. UT staff doing what they can to protect their privacy. If you are a family member looking to contact the Red Cross, please call 865-305-5716. Reporting live at UT Medical Center, Mona Nair, 6 News Night Team.
All right, thank you, Mona. And tonight, many of the families of victims at UT Medical Center traveled from North Carolina to be with their loved ones.
Front Street Baptist Church is located in Statesville, which is just outside of Charlotte. This evening, one of the church's pastors spoke about the terrible tragedy. 6 News reporter Josh All continues our live team coverage in Statesville. Josh.
Gene, we are situated right across the street from the church. There are still a lot of members here praying, being together through this very difficult time. Right with me right now, I have Amy Squibb. Come over here, Amy. She was just out front. You were here putting some flowers and a wreath here in front of the church. Why did you want to do that?
We just want to show the community that we're here praying for them and just to support them through anything we can do.
And you live just a few minutes from the church. Why is this hitting the community so hard?
It's a big church, so we know either of somebody that goes here or we've been here before, so we're a very close community, and it's just shocking.
And earlier this evening, we did speak with one of the pastors here at the church, and this is what he had to say.
We don't have all the facts to give here, but we do know that there were several that went on to be with the Lord. This is a time of difficulty, but we trust in the God. We trust that He is there always.
church leaders will be having a press conference in the morning for the media at 8 o'clock here at the church. We will be there and we'll bring you the latest from Statesville. Reporting live in Statesville, Josh Alt, 6 News Night Team.
All right, thank you, Josh. Dr. Charles Stanley was the last to speak at the Fall Jubilee in Gatlinburg. Dr. Stanley, along with In Touch Ministries, has released this statement about the church bus crash. It says, quote, Dr. Stanley and the staff of In Touch Ministries wishes to offer their sincere condolences to this faithful group who joined them in Tennessee to worship the Lord. Many of them now have the joy of seeing Him face to face. But for those with injuries and for the loved ones left behind, we offer our continuing prayers.
Well, East Tennesseans are showing their support for the victims in the crash. Coming up, we'll take you to a special prayer service here for those victims and their families.
And we'll see temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s early in the morning, some patchy fog, and a nice start to what should be another warm day. I'll have the weekend forecast next.
Well, tonight, members of our community gathered to pray for the victims of today's deadly crash. The night team's Samantha Manning was at the service in Dandridge. She's here now with us live in the studio. Samantha.
Well, Lori, the associate pastor at the First Baptist Church in Dandridge says the parents of one of the crash victims stayed at their church temporarily this afternoon following the crash. They were there to wait for other family members to pick them up as they tried to grasp what happened. We're told their son was one of the 8 people who died in the fiery crash after his family was returning home from a fishing trip and were heading back home to Knoxville.
She says, rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep.
Members of the Dandridge community came out to pray this evening, thinking of the victims and families of those involved in the 3-vehicle crash on I-40 that left 8 people dead and 14 others in the hospital. Several of the victims were on board a church bus from North Carolina headed home.
It's every pastor's nightmare.
Pastor Bob Brown was called to the scene of the crash to serve as chaplain and saw the wreckage firsthand.
I can't imagine what's going through the minds of those that are involved.
The First Baptist Church offered hospitality to the family of one Knoxville man killed in the crash.
They came here just to rest after they'd been on the scene for a while and came here to just rest and wait on family from Knoxville to pick them up and take them home.
Church leaders say that family was returning from a fishing trip when the crash happened.
The father was very comforted because he knew that at the moment of his son's death, that his son was spending eternity with Christ, and he had a peace about him because of that.
We're just sort of trying to process. It's easy to give real simple, glib answers at this time, but at the end of the day, we will promise to pray and certainly promise to render whatever care we can.
Now, the First Baptist Church in Dandridge doesn't normally hold services Wednesday evening, but they say they chose to meet tonight specifically to pray and give their support to those involved in the deadly crash. Live in the studio, Samantha Manning, 6 News Night Team.
All right, Samantha. Now, as we mentioned, the church group was on its way home to Statesville, North Carolina after a trip to Gatlinburg. Seniors from Front Street Baptist Church were attending Fall Jubilee. Organizers of that event sent us this statement, quote, our thoughts are with our friends at Front Street Baptist Church in their tragic loss. Pastor Johnny Hunt, the congregation at First Baptist Church Woodstock, and all the Jubilee team have you in our prayers.
Again, both directions of I-40 are expected to be closed all night at the scene of this accident. TDOT has posted some alternative routes around the crash scene. Westbound traffic must take exit 424 to State Route 113. Then, drivers must take State Route 341 to I-81 south at exit 4. And if you're heading toward Jefferson County, you should take I-81 north to I-26 and then back to I-40 in North Carolina. All this information is available at our website, WATE.com. Tonight, the traffic is clearing in Dandridge after heavy traffic from the crash detour earlier today clogged the town streets. At one point, Dandridge police reported traffic backing up several miles in both directions. The force called in 7 officers to help block off intersections to keep traffic flowing. Police have started to remove some of the traffic barriers, but it may still be some time before things get back to normal.
Hopefully, by morning, everything will be flowing smoothly, but it just depends how long it takes them to get the wreck scene cleared up.
Now, 2 officers from the Newmarket Police Department also assisting Dandridge Police tonight with traffic control. Tomorrow, authorities are scheduled to give us an update on the church bus crash about 8 in the morning. We will carry that live on air and online, and we will continue to bring you the latest on 6 News and WATE.com, along with our 6 News Facebook page and Twitter.
Well, Knoxville police tell us a report of 5 men with guns at Knoxville College turned out to be a false call. Dispatchers sent police to campus in Mechanicsville earlier tonight. Officers learned when they got there that the only person with a gun was the caller, who had taken off. Witnesses say a group of people playing basketball benched him because he wasn't playing well. Police tell us that's when he became upset and brought out a handgun. Police are working to identify a suspect, and they only tell us he's a black male between 18 and 20 years old.
It has turned out to be another warm pattern that will continue for a couple more days with limited rain chances, but cooler air in the forecast next week. In between that, we've got some showers and thunderstorms to mix in, but not so fast tonight. 68 right now. It's 68 in Oak Ridge, 70 still in Crossville, 65 in Middlesboro, and down to 58 comfortable degrees in the Tri-Cities. I think we'll be right near 60 to start the day. Partly to mostly cloudy skies overnight. Fog not going to be a big issue. Sun and clouds tomorrow by noon, 76, and we're back to 83. By the way, 76 is an average high, so like today, we're probably going to be much the same tomorrow. 82 degrees was our high today. Part of the reason we're going to be a little warmer, we've got some more humidity in place, and that's not going to allow temperatures to drop that much tonight. A few spotty showers middle and west Tennessee. So tomorrow I don't think we'll see much rain in the forecast on timeline, but there is just a slight hint that you may see 1 or 2 sprinkles or an isolated shower or two. The majority of the day will be dry. So we're going to call for it basically a dry forecast with about a 10 to 20% chance for a shower. Here's lunchtime Thursday. Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, still some clouds, but basically dry conditions. And much the same is expected as we go Thursday night into Friday morning. We'll see Friday be a day that actually has a little bit more sunshine than Thursday. Both days the rain chance is pretty much on the slim side. So this is Friday morning, and then you go through Friday midday into the afternoon, and partly cloudy skies are expected. So you folks up in Middlesboro, that area, you've got about a 20% chance for a shower tomorrow. Some clouds, some sunshine, a little bit more humidity, and a high right near 79 degrees. How about the Smoky Mountains? Well, 55 to start would be a good guess here. 76 for the afternoon, and again about a 15 to 20% chance for a shower. That's a better opportunity, higher elevations there. Forecast for southeast Kentucky, including Williamsburg and Middlesboro, 80 degrees. Isolated shower after a warm day. We're looking for another one tomorrow here in Knoxville, 83. So partly cloudy skies, and most areas stay dry. Sunrise is at 7:33. You look at the next 7 days, and we'll go up to 85 on Saturday. Right now, I'm pretty confident it'll be dry for the Vols game, although there will be a slim chance for a mountain shower. Then we'll watch a cold front Sunday and Monday, bringing showers and thunderstorms and much cooler temperatures by early next week.
All right, thank you, Matt. Jim's here now with more on the UT football team.
He also has the latest on an injured Tennessee Titans player. Jim?
Lori, for the first time since he was hurt Sunday, Jake Locker is speaking up. More on that when 6 News at 11 returns. Positive Monday must be contagious because I'm still feeling the vibe on Wednesday here at 6 Sports. Vols head coach Butch Jones took a few minutes Monday to expound upon the good things Tennessee's football team has done this season. I'll continue that trend tonight. Tennessee's quarterbacks are among the best protected in the SEC. The Vols have given up just 4 sacks this season.
Our running backs have really improved their pass protection skills. I think Coach Gillespie has done a tremendous job, of teaching the skills. And now we're going to be challenged again this week with a team that likes to bring a lot of pressure from all different areas.
Georgia's coming to town. The Vols have yet to suffer a multiple sack game, and against Oregon, UT quarterbacks were untouched. Titans quarterback Jake Locker, injured Sunday, is speaking up for the first time since that hit. Locker suffered a sprained hip on this double whammy collision by the New York Jets. Still no word on when he's coming back.
That's kind of the tough part. I think just going to kind of continue to work as hard as I can. I want to be out there next week. I want to be out there this week. So I'm going to do everything I can to get out there as quick as possible. And what that timetable is, I really don't know.
Backup Ryan Fitzpatrick will start this weekend against the Kansas City Chiefs. Up next, a UT basketball team with plenty of options. More on that when 6 News at 11 returns. Conzo Martin's not going to rush into this season. The Vols head coach has exactly 4 weeks to craft a team he hopes will compete for an SEC title. Vols are in their first week of practice, and the guys are just trying to find their shooting stroke. With the addition of players like Memphis transfer Antonio Barton, Martin has more options than ever this year.
I think it's too early to think about a starting five, and I think we have a gauge on guys and what certain guys can do. I think for us to have a strong bench is probably the biggest thing. We can't have Jordan McCray, Jarnell Stokes, and Jerron Mayman, for that matter, playing 35-plus minutes a game. Too many minutes for those guys with such a long season.
The Vols also expect to have a powerful front court with Stokes and the return of Jerron Mayman. The Atlanta Braves host the LA Dodgers, game 1 of the National League Division playoffs tomorrow. Chris Medlin gets the start for the Bravos.
I'm fired up about the start, and I'm definitely not as nervous as I was last year. Knowing the kind of team that we have and the players that we have on our squad, we're pretty fired up.
They got a lot of guys that can leave the yard. They got a lot of guys that can do some damage. So they definitely got some guys that can hit, and should be a fun matchup.
Not on the playoff roster for the Braves, former Smoky Dan Ugla. A season-long hitting slump has put him on the spectator list, at least for the series with the Dodgers. Tonight, that is sports.
The numbers for the next 7 days: very warm through Saturday. Showers and storms cool us off for early next week.
Thanks for joining us.
Good night, everybody.